lot of Tebow bashing in the media, even amongst players. And the question here is this race-based? And it's really not our question because, guys, this is something that our colleague Rob Parker, who's on the show on a regular basis, and he is backed by Cordell Stewart when he brought this up. Rob told us some time ago that in his black community that there is resentment towards Tim Tebow, and he believes that it is due to race.
Due to the fact that many that Rob knows and has talked to believe that Tebow got an opportunity that many young black quarterbacks never got.
Right, exactly.
And Cordell believes that also.
Exactly. Then there's this from Joey Porter on the NFL Network. He says, anyone who brings him in right now, you would think they're trying to do it for ticket sales. So it's just like it's good to have a Justin Bieber because you're going to get a whole lot of fans. That's what I compare it to. He's the Justin Bieber of the NFL. And from Warren Sapp. If he's on my ball club, I have to leave. I want out. I know what that style of football that takes. You have to learn to love to be miserable. Pick sixes don't bother you. Being down 24 doesn't bother you. Nothing bothers you. That's a miserable way to play football. Is Rob Parker right? Is there a race issue when it comes to the Tebow criticism?
Allow me to start this one, gentlemen.
Sir.
I could not help last night reflecting on what Rob and Cordell have often said on this show. Obviously, I'm a Tebow supporter, so you can readily accuse me of having zero objectivity on this issue. But after a while last night, I sat back and I said, man, this has just gone completely out of bounds and over the edge. This is vicious. This is venomous. This is mean-spirited, the reaction from so many black players against Tim Tebow over the last 24-odd hours. I'm talking about his teammates in Denver to start with. Willis McGahee, Demaryius Thomas. And after a while I thought, man, just in a vacuum, just on the surface of what this young man accomplished last year in Denver, as we talked earlier, took a bad football team, won 7 of 8, 6 fourth-quarter comebacks, won the division, won a playoff game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, 14 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions, Alex Smith kind of numbers. But in a vacuum, would any other quarterback be so reviled and ripped in the same situation, getting replaced by Peyton Manning and being on the job market, on the trade market? No. Most would be heralded for that accomplishment as a rookie kind of a starter in his first few NFL starts, right? And so I finally sat back and I asked you guys in the pre-show meeting, is this operating here again? Is Rob right? Is Cordell right? Is that what's going on? Because I can't explain it.
Is that your assumption now?
I don't know.
Is that your conclusion?
No, I just asked them in the meeting.
So you're not sure?
I don't know.
You haven't decided that that's going on here?
Well, first of all, I can say Joey Porter and Warren Sapp have a healthy hatred for quarterbacks in general.
Okay, that's fair.
By the way that they play.
Yeah.
These two guys have seen the way the position is supposed to be played, and they respect it. But when you see the way that Tim Tebow is playing it, they have no respect for that style of football. That's it. Doesn't matter what color Tim Tebow is. If there is any quarterback that's playing that way, they just don't like it at all because they know what it takes to play that position. As far as other players are concerned in NFL, I don't like some of the comments that are being made because whether you like Tim Tebow or not, he won games and he's in the fraternity. He's in the NFL fraternity. He's played in the professional level. He's gotten there. He was a first-round draft pick.
You've been good about saying that all along. You said, hey, I do respect
the way that he played. There's a lot of guys out there that aren't playing in the NFL. There's a lot of guys out there that want to play in the NFL. Tim Tebow is an elite player because he's in the NFL. Now, I do have a little, like I said, I don't like what some of the guys are saying about him. But when you talk about his teammates and the way that they feel and have a little bit of disdain for him, that's because when you look at that Denver Broncos team, Tim Tebow gets all the accolades for their accomplishments last year. Nobody else does. Football players are a prideful bunch, and they want to get credit where credit is due. Eric Decker wants to get credit for catching those hard-to-catch balls that Tim Tebow is throwing. That defense wants to get credit for going out there and stopping the other team and putting Tim Tebow in position to make those plays. Now, like I said, it's not Tim Tebow's fault because if you look at any team, all the quarterbacks get the accolades for that. And that's what you're starting to get from his teammates. They're just saying, you know, everybody talked about Tim Tebow. And as a former player, when you're on a team and that's all that everybody's talking about, whether or not you like the guy, it still is irritating to hear that every day. Nobody's talking about how Eric Decker's picking balls up off the ground because they're wobbly balls or how hard it is to catch that. Nobody's talking about that. Only thing everybody talks about is how well Tim Tebow is playing. Nobody's talking about what Von Miller's bringing to the table or all those other guys. So it's just a little tough.
Stephen A?
Rob Parker's right. Hugh Douglas has a point. And Skip, your question is valid. Let me preface my statements by saying these comments are not a part of ESPN. This is me talking here.
Right.
It's time that we get real and be very, very serious and honest about this particular subject. When you look at Tim Tebow, let's first take Warren Sapp, Joey Porter's comments. Unlike you, I have absolutely no problem with what they said whatsoever. They're right on the money, and they should be applauded for saying what they said. Warren Sapp is an equal opportunity criticizer.
Yeah.
This man calls it like it is. He don't care what position you play. He don't care what color you are. He got a problem with what you've done. He will tell you.
I covered Warren,
and he will tell you to your face.
For 5 years, and
if
I'll
we
back
know
that up.
anything about Joey Porter, he said the same thing. Joey Porter has been that MO. He was the one that first called Peyton Manning a gimmick when the Steelers beat them in the playoffs years ago. All right, and this was Peyton Manning. Joey Porter, he has no personal agenda against Tim Tebow. He is paid to call it like he sees it, and that's exactly what he has done. But what we can't be myopic. We can't be short-sighted in what is going on here. What you have is a situation tantamount to what I basically explained to you time and time again. It's not about those numbers. And the reason why I keep telling you about the numbers and I shove them aside, it's not to dismiss the validity of what he accomplished. It's because to us, meaning Black America, we're looking at the fact that how did you get in a position to do that on the NFL level? You have a lot of people. I'm not saying all black folks. We understand that you and I feel differently about this subject. But you played the game. So there's a level of cerebral, just a cerebral approach to the NFL game that you bring to the table that I don't bring because I don't play in the NFL. But on the outside looking in, from an ancillary, perspective or what have you, we look at it and we say, okay, Tim Tebow came into the NFL. Skip said he was demoted to the fourth string. I didn't even know there was a fourth string on the quarterback position. Okay, he was demoted to fourth string.
Below the practice squad.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen to what we say about him. Skip Bayless, his biggest fan, has acknowledged football IQ, not that high.
Yep.
Practice production, not that high.
Agreed.
All right, mechanics and things of that nature, not that high. Ability to throw the football, not that impressive. All of these things we've acknowledged, but he's a starting NFL quarterback. And so what happens is that as a guy on the outside, and this is where you have to understand this, Hugh, on the outside looking in, not as an NFL player, but on the outside looking in, we're looking at it and saying, black players get this opportunity?
To that point.
Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward was a religious dude. Charlie Ward had an impeccable reputation. Charlie Ward came out of Florida State. He won a national title, etc., etc.
I do know some teams are going to draft Charlie Ward.
I understand
the first
that.
round, but he wanted to play basketball.
I understand that. But what I'm saying to you is the talk at the time was whether or not he was going to be that good. And all I'm saying to y'all is this. Black America, what some folk in white, not all, what some folk in white America want Black America to do is forget things that took place historically. Forget and develop selective amnesia and then judge this as it is on its face value now. So people want to pick and choose for our community what we should look at from an historical perspective and what we should look at about the here and now. And that's sometimes very difficult for us to do. We might be wrong. Hugh and I love the fact that we're both African Americans and we up here and we disagree because we come from, we're thinking about it differently. But an undeniable aspect is that when Rob Parker brings up something like that, Skip Bayless is talking about Tim Tebow. Rob Parker and the boys in this barbershop are talking about history.
See, this is the point that I want to make because you made some valid points and that's not lost on me. But when I look at Tim Tebow, you know who I see? I see Cordell Stewart when he came out.
I agree.
I see Michael Vick when he came out. And some of them same things that you said about Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Right.
He said about Michael Vick.
Wait a minute. No.
Here's a starter.
But Skip,
They didn't wanna play
to
out
answer
there.
your question, here's what you have to realize. We're not talking. See, you're talking about football.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
No. We're not. Rob
Okay.
Parker's not. The barbershop's not. The black community is not. I'm not. We're talking about the popularity, this insatiable desire that people have for him to succeed. And as a result of that, it builds a shrapnel of momentum against him for him to fail, because you're looking at him and you're saying he's not being judged like a typical football player. There is something a little extra going on here where you have this insatiable appetite for him to succeed. Why? He's just a football player like anybody else. But all of a sudden you get into him acknowledging, I want to save souls. I want to save souls. So as a result of that, people, that's what I'm saying. As a result of that, people look at it and they say, okay, excuse me, because he wants to save souls, you have a lot of religious zealots out there that were pushing it, that momentum, and as a result, it forced and compelled Fox and John Elway and those guys to put him in that position.
I don't
to see
believe
what would
that for a
happen.
second.
To put him in that position, and as a result, people resent that. Y'all can't understand that?
Okay, let me go here.
Sure.
Okay, for the record, and you guys know this, I have been heavily criticized for overly defending Donovan McNabb, Vince Young. I love Josh Freeman and was his biggest fan going into that draft, and now I say RG3 will be better than Andrew Luck. So let's just keep that on balance. In Tebow's case, did he get an opportunity he shouldn't have gotten? No, because I said before the draft, all he did was take over the fourth quarter of the national championship game against a favored University of Oklahoma team. That's big time. That transcends winning a Heisman Trophy for Florida like a lot of other NFL busts did. You could see that he took over against a team loaded with NFL draft choices. I said that will translate to the NFL. I don't care what color he is, but the irony is, everything I used to hear about young black quarterbacks coming out, I heard that was wrong with Tebow. He's a running quarterback with a low football IQ.
Jay,
Really?
Skip,
Okay.
once again,